Hey everyone, it's Rachel, Oracle, spiritual healer, and teacher. And today we're going to look at the full moon that's coming up on April 12th. Um, and you may already be feeling this full moon. I definitely am already feeling it. And I'm not actually recording this as early in the week as I was hoping to, but in time for the full moon to take place. So, just before I get into the energetic forecast of this full moon, I'm going to speak a little bit about astrology, especially if this is your first time seeing a video I've done about any celestial event. I look at sidereal astrology, and sidereal translates to real star time. So, if you work for NASA, if you're an astronaut, um, if you do astrology through North Indian or Vedic perspective or traditions, all of those people, all of those practices use the actual positioning of the stars, and so sidereal astrology is the same. Um, to my knowledge, the only astrology that doesn't is Western or tropical astrology, and it's about 5 degrees off. And that doesn't mean it's not useful or helpful. It absolutely is. Tropical astrology gives you an idea of where you're coming from, the past, whether you want to think about it as past lives, um, past collective karma. Um, and so we're always sort of in between our old self and our future self. And so in reality, it's actually important to look at both. If you're interested in astrology and using it as a tool for guidance, it's helpful to look at both because tropical astrology will tell you where you're coming from. Sidereal Vedic astrology will tell you what's ahead for you, the potential and possibilities that exist for you, for us. So that's a little bit about that. And so I look at sidereal astrology. And so exactly what's taking place, the full moon is April 12th. If you're in Eastern time, it's at 8:22 p.m. So it's the sun Chiron conjunction, and a conjunction is with when those two star bodies, so this would be Chiron and the sun, are within, I believe, 8 degrees of each other in the same house. So they're right next to each other, which sort of amplifies the energy. And they're both in sidereal Pisces. So that's the actual alignment that they're in. Opposite moon in Virgo. So, what does that mean? And for these sort of longer energetic forecasts, like the celestial events, I always sort of channel it first, write it down to save time. So I'm not sort of sitting on the video, recording myself doing this and having lots of edits to make up uh, for the time and shorten it. So, the conjunction, this is an annual conjunction. So, this happens every year, the Sun and Chiron conjunct. Energetically, a light is being shown on our wounding. Chiron is the wounded healer or the shaman. It can transform the hurt, our pain, into a mastery of sorts, right? And into a strength. So, thinking about anything that's been a challenge for you that's brought a lot of pain or a lot of trauma, you can transform that into something that you're then very good at navigating and that you can help other people navigate through. And that's the power that Chiron has. It shines a light and amplifies who we are, what have we healed, what still needs to be healed, and where we are individually and collectively in that process of healing. They were showing me these images of the healing taking place quicker. And so without as much effort as in the past. And what I mean by that is, um, when I talk about the past, it's not as in like last year, although it is, but think about generationally. If you think about generations before us and sort of the collective trauma or the collective wounding that they went through, and sort of their healing process took longer. Like if you look at the generation that's older, right before baby boomers, and I can't think of what is the name of the generation. I think it's like I think they're called the greatest generation because they're the ones that went through the depression, if I'm not mistaken. But how, if you think about some of the things that they went through collectively, how long it took them to heal, if they even did get to healing, right? So it's happening quicker right now. And part of that reason is because everything is moving faster on Earth right now, because we're in this trajectory of going into a higher vibration here on Earth. And they're saying this, however, is a choice, right? So if we heal quickly, it's a choice. And sometimes we don't feel like it is, but everything actually is a choice. We can choose to release pain whenever we're ready, whenever we want. We can choose to move through and experience, release it, integrate it, and move forward whenever we're ready. Right now, energetically, it is easier to do this. It is a combination of more information coming to the surface. So, this has sort of been the theme for this month, too. A month of things being revealed, more things coming to light. So, things coming to the surface, being revealed, more truth. This reveal is happening inside of each of us. So, our own truths, our own feelings, our own sort of aha moments, our own realizations of, yeah, I don't want to do this, or no, I really want to do this. And this happening to varying degrees as this happens. And we see, no, I don't know where that is. Oh, we see this taking place on the world stage too. The more truths that come out, the more things will shake up, as we will recalibrate based off of those truths. So as we sort of the secrets get revealed and uncovered, we're going to adjust. Like, oh, okay, we just learned about this collectively. Now we're going to adjust and change this in our town, or this in our policy, or we're going to take our children are going to go to a different school. It can manifest in many ways. And so there's a constant sort of recalibrate. All right, this is collapsing, we're going to move here. um People who resist looking at themselves, especially their actions, are choosing a harder path. These people are resisting change, resisting resisting acknowledgement, resisting accountability. And so they are asking to experience more delusion, mistrust, corruption, manipulation, and acting out of bad faith. So the Sun Chiron conjunction being in sidereal Pisces, which is exposure, more information coming out in a public way on a global scale, more people being exposed for their actions. This doesn't necessarily mean we will hear about it on the 12th, right? This is just the, you want to think of it, the stars are reflecting what's happening down here, and we're reflecting what's happening in the stars, right? So the micro and the macro. The stars give us this sort of way of looking at and understanding what's happening here on Earth. It's not causing it to happen, but they're mirroring each other, right? So it's like, when you can see something more easily in somebody else than you can in yourself. And then, but they're reflecting something back at you because you see it, because it's also a part of you. It's the same sort of idea. So where did I leave off? This doesn't necessarily mean yes, okay, so we're gonna hear about on the 12th, because there is a behind the scenes aspect here. So there's a behind the scenes aspect to this full moon of there are things that are taking place that are not visible, that will soon become visible. Um, so it's like someone finds out something or is able to finally to connect the dots about something and begins to contact the necessary people, so that more people find out, so more people learn about it. The intuitive aspects of Pisces is helping with this process because it's not all logical in that, it's not take this step, that step, and you'll get here. The exposure, the healing, the truths, and finding them, it's like, oh, I have this feeling, and then acting on that feeling. The other thing I see happening is being with our emotions, our feelings, as information comes forward in ourselves and on this world stage. It's not it's not a full moon of action. It's not sort of, powerful in that sense. It's not sort of, masculine energy. It's much more um, feminine. The energy around this full moon is much more feminine. It's softer, feeling, emotional, emotional. Um, it's a full moon to be informed, gain information, simmer with this knowledge, and dream or be inspired about what is next steps to take, new possibilities that could emerge. Um, yeah. So then we go into our Virgo, right? All of this is happening opposite the moon in Virgo. So Virgo being another healing energy, but with a more traditional feel. So so we have Chiron. Like Chiron rules Virgo. So having them both together, the potential for healing is great. The energy of Chiron again is more of like the shaman. It's the magic. It's the unseen world. It's things that you can't necessarily make sense of. Um, they're just sort of realign and happen. Things just get sort of broken down, destroyed, and something new is created. And again, it's something that can be outside of your awareness. Where Virgo, the energy of Virgo is more practical, more almost like more like a like Western medicine, like that sort of, it's like a little bit more of the logical mind in there. So if we had to compare the two, Virgo would be more of an expression of masculine energy, where the Chiron would be more of an expression of the feminine, because it's the unknown, the unseen. It's more of a mystery. Yeah. And Virgo is more of the sort of grounded, practical energy. Okay. So this with Virgo, and I was feeling into it, feels more like talk therapy. It's like, if you have someone you work with in that way, it's like maybe going to them. It's having meaningful connections, conversations, through conversations. It's healing support through conversations with people that you feel safe with. Speaking with your friends, your family, community about something that has surfaced, whether it's a thought or an emotion, and finding comfort and stability and assurance in those conversations. Overall, this full moon feels softer than some of the other major celestial events we've had this year. So, taking it easy, surround yourself with nature if you can, especially the water element, and being around loving people. So, the people that you love, the people who love you. So you have that support. Let me see if there's anything else that I missed. Yeah, they just keep showing me the water element, and this is happening on a global scale. This healing that's taking place. It's really emotional. It just feels like deep emotional healing, deep sorry, my light just flickered. Um Emotions deeply seated in the being coming to the surface, like, oh, I thought that was real, I thought that was true, I thought this was going to happen, and it's not now. And being with those feelings, and they're not necessarily pleasant. Like, it's not a happy sort of pleasant full moon. It's a little bit somber. It's a little bit of, not necessarily getting the best news or hearing the best news, but it's being with those emotions that are a little bit more deep. um yeah, yeah. So in honor of this water element, I got this new deck, and that's about mermaids. Let me see if I can find the box, if you're curious. Yeah, mermaid oracle deck. I thought it was really cute. I'm on my way to Florida this coming week, and I South Florida, and so it'll be near the mermaids and the energy and the dolphins so I just had to get it. Okay, so let's see what wants to come through. Adaptation. Yeah, that's the recalibration with the information. We're adapting to what's happening constantly, as this new information comes forward, as people's actions get revealed, constantly adapting. They put it recalibrating, but it's the same sort of thing we're doing. Courage. Yeah, this has to do with not giving up and remembering that things are not always as they seem. And there's a lot of help. There's a lot of movement towards clearing out our collective karma. And this is the collective karma of, again, being sort of ruled over and dominated by like fierce, distorted forces. And you can think about that in any sort of varying degree that you would like, whether it's a king or something greater than that or lesser than that, even like through your work environment. But it's the courage to keep going, to stand up for what's actually yours, what you deserve, and for your family. For your family. Okay, one more from our mermaid friends. Inner child. Yeah, this is all the emotional stuff I was talking about, all that deep seated inner stuff coming to the surface. Um, for some of us, we have sort of carpeted over all the things that have happened when we were a younger person. And so we've carpeted over it with like ideas, perceptions, um, again, not acknowledging even our own experience, like as if it didn't happen. And so some of the things coming up are from our inner child, right? So when we were younger people, and it's not exclusive to that, because some of it's also going to be from past lives, things surfacing from past lives. And normally, usually, that's also occurs when you're a kid. Okay, different deck. So this is my I call it my space travel deck, but what's it really called? Oh, my time traveler's deck. Time traveler's deck. The cards help because the cards, doing cards with me feeling into it and looking at the energetic forecast helps bring things that are possibly out of my awareness into my awareness, because you can't be aware of everything at the same time. So creativity, creative solutions coming forward. Again, this is for the whole month. And again, I don't see this necessarily happening this weekend, as like we would hear about creative solutions this weekend, or that they will emerge this weekend, but it's a result of this information coming to the surface of people's actions being revealed. Creativity is the key here. We have to create something new. It will be absolutely necessary in many different ways. Staying grounded through all of this. Don't get caught up in the drama. Stay informed. Don't let it move you. Be unshakable. The eye of the storm, because this storm, another way of thinking about it is Kali energy. If you study the Vedic gods and goddesses, or it's just this like the destructive storm, and it's for, or like a forest fire, it's for the regeneration, it's for something new to come. And there's our life force energy being restored. So if you're feeling drained, which I'm sure a lot of us are, just completely drained, emotionally, mentally, just sort of getting through life right now, if that's how you feel, it's going to be restored again. The more we sort of, it's not separate ourselves, but again, not get caught up in all the chaos that's taking place, the more we do the things that help ground us, center us, the quicker our life force is going to come back, the more it stays within us. But it's going to come back quicker than we think. All these, again, everything's happening faster. And there's our healing card. Everything's healing right now. And I've talked about this before, healing, true healing is uncomfortable. It's not fun. We have to look at things we don't want to look at. We have to feel things we don't want to feel. We have to acknowledge things that can be extremely difficult to acknowledge. And it is necessary to move forward sometimes. It is sometimes impossible to move forward unless we do it. One more card. I'm being patient. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Life will be restored again. Things are going to get better, but we have to be patient, not give up, feel all our feelings, be kind to each other, and it'll take place. All right, everyone. Happy full moon. Enjoy your weekends. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to this channel, liking this video. It does help me. I deeply appreciate it, but it helps content creators in general to keep moving forward and providing these sorts of videos and other videos for people to take advantage of.